Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Samuel Agaga, and I'm here to present a paper to you on using virtual reality to enforce the principles of cybersecurity. Um, if we think about it today, cybersecurity, is one of the areas that requires a lot of due diligence, that requires a lot of rigorous training. But over the years, there has been a lot of lack of capabilities in training facilities, training labs. Of course, all these things cannot cost money, for cyber security professional. And being a cybersecurity professional for so many years, I have been involved in a lot of trainings and development. And of course, you will agree that having to leverage, future technology like, AR and virtual reality to facilitate the training in the areas of cybersecurity will be something that will be quite commendable, considering the fact that the training itself can be very, very rigorous. So what we have today, I will go through some key concepts of cybersecurity. Then we will maybe touch a little bit on the frameworks around cybersecurity. Then we'll dive down into the research methodology. Also, we'll review some paper because I did a literature review as well on this topic, and then we will talk about the lab experiments, and then we will bring the presentation to a closure. So first of all, information security. In information security, there are three basic things that we focus on, and those are confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And it is important that every information and information systems enforces these controls to ensure that the data that is being processed by the information system is confidential. And how we achieve that is by using encryption. And also, it is important that the integrity of the information system and the information contained is not imparted in any way. That means the information is not modified by any unauthorized entity. And the way we can check for any type of malicious manipulation of the data is by a method called hashing. Hashing means you're comparing the message digest with the original message to see if there is anything that has changed. And then the last one is, of course, availability is also very important for every information system. Regardless of whether it is in the banking sector, it is an e-portal for student training, or wherever it is, or it could even be for an election. Briefly, because I'm from Nigeria, we had election recently in Nigeria where all of a sudden the server that was supposed to be used for training, for capturing the vote and displaying the vote in real time, somehow malfunctioned. That also means that there was a lack of the necessary control to enforce availability, and that's what that tells me. So to ensure that you have availability, the availability controls are implemented, you should be looking at things like disaster recovery. If the primary site fails, what do you have a backup, right? So now, of course, multi-AZ, to have high resiliency, right, for high availability, auto scaling, increasing the capacity, in a way that's kind of save cost for you. When you hear of auto scaling, that's what that would definitely resonate. So now there are just some domains in cybersecurity that I will quickly go over. The key domains, as you can see, threat intelligence, risk assessment, governance, framework and standards is very, very important. I mean, that's the building block. You have to start from there. Now, physical security is super, super important because when you hear of cloud, right? Cloud infrastructure, cloud providers, they are not necessarily in the cloud. They are somewhere, maybe it could be under the sea, it could be on the land, wherever they are, but they have to enforce physical security. But I kind of think maybe in the future, people might think of having their data center even in the space. How would that be? I don't know. But regardless, there will still be need for physical security even in the outer space. There's security architecture. This talks about, how we design security into a solution, enforcing all these parameters, cryptography, secure system build, and network design with all the security controls in terms of architectural designs and what have you. Then we talk about security operations. This is where we'll do, detect, prevent, and recover from security incident and what have you. This is where we also carry out security operations, vulnerability management. So there are so many things when we actually talk about information security. And these various domains are very, very complex, very, very complex when we start looking into them in great details. Now, let's quickly look at some of the standards that are out there. NIST framework, this is highly used by the US government. Then ISACA, it's a certification body. They provide trainings and what have you. They have also started having, standard like COVID-5, COBIT, if you've heard of that. Now, ISO framework is also, one that is much talked about, especially in 27001, 27002, NIST 800-53, 800-34, which talked about this business continuity and disaster recovery. Then we have the secure control framework. So all these are framework around information security that has all the various controls that needs to be enforced. But in a bit of a detail here, this is what the NIST framework looks like, right? You have to identify, you have to identify your asset, what about business, you have to protect by making sure you enforce access control, you have data security and what have you. You have to detect and using some technology like security information and event management system to monitor and detect what is going on across your information system and your technology ecosystem. Then you have to respond to this. Of course, in responding, you could have to do things like containment, have to communicate that to the necessary authority, you have to mitigate, then you have to improve, then you have to recover. Recover, also comes with improvement that has to be made. So these are some of the things that that we need to think about when we're deploying any type of IT infrastructure. You should have those controls. Now, quickly, we talk about the training here, training certification challenges. Difficulty in conceptualization of cybersecurity is a big issue. Inadequate training and experimentation labs. People have to pay money to learn about all these things. Some people don't have money to do it. To go through all this training, it's costly. Then poor demo software to facilitate experiment and what have you. Then lack of excitement in learning the concept is a problem. So now you have to think about gamify, the cybersecurity concept in a way that makes it exciting for people to learn. People tend not to be very engaged when the mode of teaching is not exciting enough. And this is what I think augmented reality, virtual reality is going to bring into the sphere of training, right? So inadequate funding for e-learning applications is also one of them. So here are a couple of, from IC Squared, here is a couple of certification. Each of them have their purposes, so if and these are some of the training that are out there that anybody who's interested in going into cybersecurity should be taking a look at. training and certification, as we mentioned, to qualify as a cybersecurity professional, there are a lot of trainings that has to happen, right? So, and if you're interested in that, you have to focus on those trainings. So in this presentation, we'll review a couple of technology to kind of train, demonstrate, and enforce cybersecurity principle concept. And most importantly, we would look at this paper is based around the cyber infrastructure security education for professionals and students, which is the CIC Pros. We will do a demo of it, down the presentation. So what is it creates a virtual reality kind of environment that provide some teleporting capability to facilitate the learning of cybersecurity. And let's go. Research objective, develop the CSE Pro program for implementation and institution with low infrastructure. So this was the research objective, and provide means for students who may not have access to physical lab to have immersion experience on what actual IT cybersecurity infrastructure looks like, and provide a data center, a virtual data center to learn about physical aspect of cybersecurity, which is really important. Research background, to focus on the research is to leverage AI, to leverage VRO AR technology in training both graduate and undergraduate. And here are the reasons why this will actually help, because of the lack of all these facility and resources to make the training happen. And I did a couple of literature reviews, and I took a look at augmented reality based cybersecurity education on phishing by Jan and Eta. And we then in this paper, they kind of presented the concept and design and the concept, design, and prototype of mixed reality based cybersecurity education application on phishing, so that students, so that school children could be exposed to the subjects remotely. And this was actually motivated by the COVID-19, which made it almost impossible for people to come to a physical location to learn. And this application was deployed on iOS, Google, and Android, and of course Microsoft HoloLens as well. And another paper was detecting and preventing fake mixed reality by Kiga Eka. So this identifies classic attack surfaces, vectors, and concrete threats that are relevant to mixed reality. So it presents mitigation method that can help to secure the underlying data exchange. So the argument for this, the argument put was that by design, mixed reality is fake. Its reality is generated from model, which makes it detecting attack very difficult. Okay, so that's the argument. This publication kind of projects forward. So many mixed reality attack results from well-known cybersecurity attacks. So distributed systems are, of course, often heterogeneous and under different management authority. So that was another, motivation. And MRO client-based attack detection, MRO forensic, that includes relevant features and the use of machine learning, was proposed as mitigating factor to solve those problems that were identified. So there are a couple of hardwares that was used in the research. They used the HTC Vive, system. I'm talking about the actual paper that we worked on, the CSE program that was developed for use by students and professionals. So this is the headset. So once they run the program, there are a couple of stages, which include the tutorial, entry slash exit in the data center, inspecting the data center, and of course replacing the hardware. So these are some of the experimentation that was done by the student, who carried out this experiment. So in this, the user first of all will have to learn about how to pick objects and using the controllers, right? So the first stage provides a rubber ball, for them to pick up and of course throw within the lab. So these are some of the training. So so this is what they call the teleport that would probably show take you into the virtual world, where you would be able to carry out all these experiments. So now the next thing is to enter the data center. Of course, to enter the data center, you have to swipe the card as depicted in this image. So while in the lobby, the user will receive instructions about, of course, what they're going to do. The user will first need to navigate the lobby area, server room and what have you. So this virtual data center will be granted access using the key card, the using of the key card reader, as can be seen. So the user will use the key card reader to enter into the data center. Now, while in this data center, the student will kind of navigate through all the various racks and looking for defects and looking for the problematic server, that requires any type of repairs and what have you. And from here, you can see the user now can navigate the data center by teleporting to different areas of the room, as shown right here in figure 5. While navigating, the user can find a problematic node, as mentioned earlier. And once it finds a problematic node, then it's time to replace that node, whatever that issue may be. So the first thing is to remove the cables, then place the rack, the server on top of, the cart for transport, then take it to a place where you can then do the removal of the RAM and replace the RAM. So discussion. So although this is a good starting point in leveraging AR and VR in training IT professionals through teleporting, I think the concept of full reporting might be more reinforcing, considering that it will enable the remote instructor to provide training in a simulated and immersive environment as well. The title of the paper itself talks about cybersecurity, but the concept demonstrated is more of IT technician role, actually, because replacement of RAM, technician kind of task. It's not really cybersecurity per se. Although IT infrastructure is managed by the IT team, but cybersecurity professionals don't really handle those stuff. But the thing is that every cybersecurity professional kind of grew through that ladder. Replacement of RAM, doing all those hands-on stuff before kind of growing into the cybersecurity domain. So the solution does not cater, of course, to an individual with good visual loss. So, and I foresee more improvement in the future. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people researching into this and looking for a way to leverage AR and VR in providing cybersecurity training or solving cybersecurity problems in the future, bringing to life, right? So, and I think that's we look forward to seeing more of those exciting stuff. So, in this presentation, we demonstrated the use of AR in performing cybersecurity training with an immersion experience. based on observation and feedback given on the current version of the solution. We learned that embodied interaction is in virtual reality. The training program can benefit students with short-term and long-term memory in engaging playful ways. And we also learned that there is a few elements that can be improved upon to help further build a more effective and engaging version of this application. So my future work is shift right model in ransomware attack recovery. You know, people always talk about how do we recover from ransomware attack? How do we prevent ransomware attack, right? So they talk about preventing it, but the reality is that cyber ransomware attack will always happen. So we need to start looking at recovery from ransomware attack because no matter the preventative controls that you have, there are chances that it will always happen. And this is why it's important to start focusing to shift right and start looking at the recovery, actually. I hope to also examine the possibility of incorporating AR technology in my future work, and because I think it's cool and very exciting. And thank you very much. So with this, I've come to the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to take them. Thank you very much.